Is there anything worth learning in the year 2020? Did you ever learn anything? Or do you think it's a year that we have to look back and have a retrospection into? My name is Princess Amarachi and you're welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being part of today's episode. And if you've not subscribed, this is a perfect time for you to subscribe and be part of today's episode. So today, I wanted to share some of my lessons in 2020. Yes, 2020 was a very big year for everyone with the twists and turns that occurred. And I know some people don't even want to hear about it. Well, I want to say welcome to 2021, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk about all that happened in 2020. I must say that in the beginning of 2020, it was a whole lot of stories, challenges, daunting steps that I had to take. I can recall that I had to launch my podcast in January 2020. It was the planning process for me, starting that podcast and going through that whole journey of changing an environment taught me something that I want to share with us. And one of the things that it taught me was that you really can't make a change until you take the step. Why did I say that? That you can't make a change until you take the step is that, of course, I had a lot of things that I wanted to share with people, and I was quite comfortable sharing them on my social media handles. Yes, the ones that I was ready to share, but it was a prompting for me. It was a prompting from people around me for me to start doing that podcast and be part of the podcast industry. And I remember that I did it with a lot of fear, nervousness, and I was afraid actually of throwing myself up to the public because I preferred staying actually backstage or doing something without showing my face or my voice. But 2020 taught me to really take that step and be upfront. You know, it doesn't kill, especially when you have a purpose and a target in mind. And also another thing that came with it was that it taught me to learn to prepare for something, put things in plan, put your attention, put your goal, put your heart into something and watch that thing yield its results. It was a big step for me starting something new, something as novel as a podcast. Yes, and I must say that it was a game-changing time for me as well. So I would like to say that 2020 taught me to start something new and be bold about it. So I would like to ask you, is there something that you've nurtured in your heart, an idea that you have within you, and you're thinking of how do I begin, how do I start? If I start, will I fail or succeed? I just want to encourage you that if you start, yes, if you actually start, you will know where you're heading to, but you really won't know how far you're going to go until you begin. So take that step today and make this year a memorable one for you, just like the past year was for me. Now, the second lesson that I had in 2020 is that everything grows by the degree of attention you pay to it. Now, remember I told you that I started my podcast in 2020. That's Cheap Talk Podcast. I remember that I gave it a whole lot of attention. At the beginning, I was exposed to a lot of things, podcasting, a lot of things, content marketing, a lot of things, writing, and I figured out that my knowledge about it grew widely, increased as to what it would have been if I didn't pay attention to it. Not just in that, I noticed that I paid attention to content writing, paid attention to voiceovers, I did a lot of practices, and I grew and got better at it. So that taught me that if you pay attention to something, if you give your heart to something, definitely that thing is going to grow. And the level of its growth is going to be at the same level of the attention you give it. So if you have a business, if you have an idea, if you have a project, if you have something you're working on, it could be academics, and you give it a 20% attention, trust me, the growth level is going to be also in that level of 20%. If you want it to grow to 100%, then you have to give it that commensurate attention. What area of your life that you seek growth deserves your attention, and the kind and level of growth you also seek determines the level of attention you're going to give to it. Maybe you want to grow your relationship with people, you want to build your skill in something, you want to be better at something, you want to know more about something, then you gotta pay the sacrifice of giving it your attention. You know, it says that time is money and time is a currency with which you can buy anything. It's not just about giving cash. Yes, you can give cash, cash, but understand that what you're giving cash for is you're paying for time. So if you have a business and you're not giving it the due time you're supposed to give to it, what you actually do is you pay people to give their own time to grow in your business. So you see, time really pays. Time is a currency that you can use to get whatever it is you want. So pay attention to something that you want to grow and see that thing grow the way you want it to. Isn't that a beautiful lesson to learn? Okay, so the third lesson that I learned in 2020, which is a very important one for me, is that you need to have a stand for something and stick with it. I recall that in 2020, a lot of things started happening. The pandemic came, information flew from left, right, center, and I saw people literally lose their conviction, lose their faith, lose their belief, lose their trust in things that they already had before the trials, the storm came around. And it got me thinking, like, how strong was our conviction before these things came up? And that taught me that if your foundation, if the trust, you believe, and your conviction for something that you hold on to isn't strong enough, when tides come, when storms come, when a new idea comes up, you're going to likely be swayed by it. So I would like to specifically focus this on, I believe as Christians, that if your stand on your Christianity, your stand on your relationship with God is not well grounded, if you've not asked yourself that question of why am I a believer and what really does it mean for me to be a believer, it's time for you to ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe in, and how strong is my faith and belief in this? How knowledgeable am I in it? If you really ask yourself these questions, it will make you to ask more questions, launch deep to really understand what you believe in. It's not just restricted to your faith as a believer. It could be in anything you believe at all. You believe in your business, you believe in your relationship, you believe in your family, you believe in anything. You don't just sit on the fence. You don't just take it in because someone told you. It's time for us to go deep and do a research and have a perfect understanding of what we believe in, so that when new ideas come, when new thoughts come, new philosophies come, we would really know if we want to follow that or not. So we don't just become gullible and we're swayed left, right, and center by everything and with everything. Well, I'm not saying that we can't embrace new ideas, but it just have to come from the stance of our beliefs and from the stance of our knowledge to know, okay, this is a new idea and it's worth embracing, and this is a new idea and it is not worth embracing. So try to apply this to your life. What do I believe in? How strong is my conviction in what I believe, in my faith, in my relationship, in my business, in my project, in my career? And am I so confident to project my belief to people who have not even heard about it before or who don't believe in what I believe in? Yeah, that's a beautiful lesson to learn for me. How about you? How about your belief? Have you asked yourself that question? Well, let me know in the comments if you think that that's a beautiful lesson to learn in 2020. Now, the last lesson is that in 2020, I got to know that it's very important for you to build your spirit and to build your mind. It's very important for you to build your spirit and to build your mind. You're going to ask me how? How do you mean by building your spirit and building your mind? Well, we feed ourselves physically with food every day. And I remember how I feel when I'm very hungry. You feel jittery. You feel like you've lost focus. You feel like you can't continue on that task you're doing. Well, that's also how it feels when your spirit and your mind is not well fed with the right information, with the right knowledge, when you're just there. You're not doing anything to improve yourself. You're not doing anything to grow yourself. You're not doing anything to work on your personal development. That is going to be a major challenge. I found out that in 2020. Well, it's not too late to discover that for yourself too. Now, I didn't tell you that the PA show started in 2020. In 2020, we started the PA show, and it was also another leap for me, coming off on video, showing my beautiful face. Yeah, showing my beautiful face on camera. And it took me to a lot of trainings and development, learn how to do a presentation so that you can actually understand what I'm saying. And that taught me that there's nothing that you want to do, there's nothing that you want to achieve that you can't do if you learn to build your spirit, if you learn to build your mind with the right knowledge, with the right information, if you're exposed to self-development, personal development, and growth. So this is my simple advice to you. Yes, for my lesson, that self-development, personal growth is a very great tool that you should learn to invest in, that you can invest in. It actually pays off. It doesn't pay you in cash. The result is not immediate, but it's an overtime investment, it's an overtime payment. Yes. So in 2020, I learned that building your spirit strengthens you, building your mind gives you more confidence to face any challenge and to take up any project and any idea based on without shaking. That's my beautiful 2020 lessons. There are many more, like I said earlier, but for me to continue, I'd like to get your comments about your own lessons, your own take, your own experiences in 2020. I know you have much more than what I said, so I'll be waiting for you in the comment. Tell me about your 2020 experience. Was it a beautiful year for you, or was it a bad one for you? Whichever one it is, I'd like to know in the comment section. But until then, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for staying so far. And once again, if you have not subscribed, I know you enjoyed watching to this end, it's the perfect time for you to subscribe and tap the notification bell, because when you subscribe, this video and this channel is promoted to other people and they get to receive the value that this content shares. You understand? And it's also a boost and an encouragement to me to continue bringing you more content. So help a friend and give me that boost by tapping the subscribe button. Let's get it going. But until then, have a beautiful day and keep living every day from within to without. Take care. Bye.